woven together. That's us for sure. Let us celebrate this morning. Let's celebrate the one mind, the one heart, the one power that infuses us, that's all around us. And let's celebrate one another as we know that we are the human expressions of that one mind, that one heart, that one power. And as we express ourselves, let us bring and be only peace. Good morning, Unity on the Lake Shore. Good morning. And let's celebrate this beautiful, beautiful morning, because we know wherever we are, God is, and God is for sure. Let's sing. Let's go sing.
Ever
Good morning once again. A few announcements this morning. If you look on the back of your bulletin, right at the very top we see that beautiful I Love Mom. For those of you who may not have had the opportunity yet to bring in a photograph of your mother, please do so at ASAP. If you're not able to get back here to do that, remember you may email it into the office to either Sandy or Suzanne, and we'll make sure that it gets included in a special celebration next Sunday morning. Just a reminder, throughout the month on Wednesdays from 6 to 7 is our Course in Miracles, and from 7 to 7:25, meditation each Wednesday. Now this coming Wednesday will be the second class, second in the series that Martin is leading, called Jesus Christ Heals, which is based on the book by Charles Fillmore. If you did not attend the first session, remember you're always welcome to join. Please do so. Books will be provided for you. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask Martin, and he would be happy to fill you in. He would like us all to have read through chapter 6 for this coming Wednesday, please. And then at the end of the month, on Wednesday the 29th, we're going to have another movie night here at Unity, and the movie that is going to be shown is called Vegucated. And from the description in the bulletin, it sounds like it will be very interesting, very fun, just a real enjoyable evening, so we encourage you to come out. Martin, before I introduce Reverend G, I know that you would like to share this morning one of our 12 powers, please.
Absolutely. This is the first Sunday of the month, and you'll notice that the swatch over the window is a new color. Each of the colors represents one of the 12 powers. The month of May represents the power of spiritual power. It is represented by the color purple. The apostle is Philip, and it originates at the root of the tongue. That's where we experience power. Power is my ability to change and build consciousness. Power is my ability to choose thoughts and blessings.
Thank you, Martin. Yes.
One quick announcement, we are going to do a concert and benefit silent auction in October. So this is an early notice that we need items for the auction, and there'll be a post downstairs. It can be new, antique, collectible, whatever, but just keep that in mind so that we can start gathering items for that silent auction.
Yes, that's a fundraiser that we're putting together, and Jill agreed to champion it. So thank you very much for that. So I am Reverend G. Ludwig, and I am very pleased to have you here today. I have good news, great news, and bad news. So the good news is that people read the e-blast. The great news is that they also pay attention, and they do, as the e-blast suggests. The bad news is that I write the e-blast. So if you haven't figured that out by now, then it is clear beyond the shadow of the doubt that dates and I are two different worlds, and it adds up to a lot of confusion when I get to mingle without being supervised. So what happened is I sent out an e-blast in which I said that Happy Hour with Reverend G is May 3rd, which was this Friday. I meant May 5th, which is this coming Monday. And so good news is that people did show up, and they are definitely keepers, these people are.
We had a wonderful time together, too.
And the absolute great news is that they learned a lot about each other. And incidentally, they learned something about me too. And come to think of it, you all have. So, Happy Hour with Reverend G, Monday, that's tomorrow, at 5:30 Clementines in South Haven. I will be there. Whether you come or not, I will be there, I promise. And please come, let's have a wonderful time and share and learn even more about me other than I can't put a good e-blast together. And I thank you for your grace and mercy and sense of humor. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend G. I know that afforded Bill the opportunity to come and join some of the rest of us last Friday evening when we celebrated the music of our dear and special friend, Carol Johnson. Carol, it was tremendous. Thank you very, very much. We had a great time. And it was nice that Bill was able to be there with us also. It is my opportunity now, my honor and my privilege to introduce to you Mr. John Ellsworth. John comes to us from Grand Haven. When I asked John, is there anything that you would like me to share about you? And he just kept talking about the one power, the one power, the one power, the one power that infuses us within and without. And so I've decided to simply introduce John as a musician extraordinaire and just simply a precious expression of that one power. John, please join us.
Thank you. Well, I could just play this drum for you. I kind of wanted to just give a little kind of like history on some of the drum beats that you hear on these kinds of drums. I see you guys have one in your church already, so it's kind of cool. But this is called a djembe. It's an African drum. One of the oldest drum beats ever created were created on this kind of drum. It's called the Nyabinki drum beat. That's very, very roots, very old drum beat. But I'm just going to give you a little demonstration on that because I thought it'd be kind of cool to give you a little history of beats because we all got one beating in us right now actually. This is a drum here too. So, but the Nyabinki is just probably heard that beat before. That's the oldest drum beat probably ever recorded, I'm sure. It comes from Africa. That's the Nyabinki. Real simple beat. But, and I didn't really bring all my drums and everything, but I play the drums in a band and we tour around the country and just wanted to come be a part of your church today, so thanks for having me. And, yeah, the one power that she's referring to in the rehearsal earlier, it was like that song really kind of touched me because I always kind of quote those lyrics to a lot of people who believe different beliefs, but it's all the same one power, which is a really good message you guys carry on. So, thanks for having me. real nice.
This light is to remind us of the one power, of the one Christ within every single one of us. And sometimes that light feels rather dim within us. So here it is, shiny and bright, to remind us that regardless of our awareness and how we feel in the moment, that is always the truth of us. Father, Mother God, divine everything, we stand in gratitude with open hearts, connected, ready to connect, loving, loved, knowing that all is well, knowing that the one truth is the eternal presence, the Christ presence within all of us. And for that together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We have a tremendous vision here at Unity in the Lakeshore. Our vision, every life, a spiritually transformed life. Let's share that together, please. Every life, a spiritually transformed life. At this time, I'd like to ask Marilyn to come forward to share our daily word, please. I'll do it.
The subject this morning is expansiveness. I expand my vision to see unlimited possibilities. I see beyond the parameters I've accepted in the past to behold a world of unlimited possibilities. As my vision expands, I create space for more good, more love, more giving, more opportunities, and more spiritual understanding. Intellectually, I know my spirit is unlimited. As I study and practice spiritual principles, my awareness of the Christ within me expands as well. I accept and express more of my divine nature. I embrace my full potential as I navigate through life. I realize greater clarity of purpose and new ways to contribute my gifts to bless others. I am open and receptive as I journey along the path Jesus showed was possible for all of us. And the scripture comes from Genesis 13, verse 14 and 15. Raise your eyes now and look from the place where you are, for all this land that you see, I will give to you.
Thank you, Marilyn. And at this time, let us share together our affirmation of faith. There is only one presence and one power in me and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And now, let's sing and share about that one power. Please stand.
One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love. And you and me, one power, one power, one power. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in our heart we're all the same. Remember, once we close our eyes to see that such differences were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. Whatever name you give it, it's all power, can't you see? The power of the love. You and me, one power, 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 one power. One power. As we prepare for our time in meditation, I invite you to close your eyes, to close out any visual distraction, and to create a safe place for the people sitting around you to experience themselves exactly as it is true for them in this moment. Take a deep breath and exhale and relax. Relax completely. Let go and leave all the hustle of the outside out there where it belongs. And go within, deep within, to the very center, the very core of your being, where there is always peace. There is that all-knowing. There is that still small voice that reminds you through all the storms, whatever you may go through, that you are love, that you are peace. So surrender to it. And allow that peace to touch your heart. And open your heart. Even though you were hurt before, even though you are no new and stranger to disappointment. still open your heart. Allow that precious vulnerability to be released. And hold yourself in that space. And as you're becoming aware of pain, of rejection, of disappointment, just bless it and let it go. Allow yourself to experience love at a new level. Healing. Healing of the soul. Healing of the mind. You are beautifully created. Even with your potential untapped completely. You have been love. You have shown love. You have received love. So open your heart that you may tap into your full potentiality. So you can be all that you can be. All that you can be. All that you've come here to be. All that it is yours to be. Be with that image. In your mind, make home for that image. Feel it, experience it. All that you can be. With that image clear in your mind, clear in your heart. It's always been tattooed on your soul. I invite you to return your attention back into this room. And as it is right for you, open your eyes and be ready. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. It's good to have you here today on such a wonderful, I think spring has sprung, right? Maybe even summer is just around the corner. I'm happy about that. I'm noticing a change of energy just in my very being. I'm so grateful for all of you to have come and for all of you to contribute to our Sunday celebration. Suzanne and John, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Barbara, for leading us on platform. Martin, we always appreciate you introducing us to new teachings that are true to unity and home to unity. Jim on the AV back there, today the board is preparing the goodies, so be sure to join us downstairs to break the bread. Thea and Jerry welcomed us kindly. Thank you, and Marilyn for the flowers and for reading the daily word as well. Thank you very much. We had a class some time ago, and at the very end of the series, we had a very interesting discussion that just organically developed. And I had a question, and I do often have this question, is how do we drive home our very unity teachings? How do we apply our spirituality? I'm going to take my coat off. Is that okay? How do we make our spirituality relevant Thursday evening, you know? When, gosh darn it, it's only Thursday, it's still not Friday. And I'm so ready for the weekend. And this week has already been so full of everything I did not want to experience. And I keep hoping for a little ray of sunshine, of hope. And, it always seems something worse to hit me. So in that moment, when it's Thursday evening, and Sunday was back then, and it's clearly not yet, how do I make the teachings that we speak of here at Sunday relevant? Does that make any sense? How do I apply this teaching in a meaningful way that I actually can experience a true change in my attitude, a true change in my being, and that I can experience peace in spite of it only being Thursday evening and not Friday yet. So, also, my question is always, when really rubber hits the road, how do we fall back on unity teachings as opposed to revert back to that which we were brought up with, which was either something fundamental Christian, maybe more judgmental. If you are recovering Catholic, how many of you are here? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you are coming from another fundamentalist Christian church, how many of you? You know what I'm talking about. And if you have been brought up without any spirituality whatsoever, you still know what I'm talking about because you have nothing to fall back on. So, how can we make sure that when that stuff hits the fan, it is unity teachings that we fall back on and not that other stuff? And I have to tell you that even in my life, and I think unity principles, and I breathe unity principles, and I speak unity principles, and very often I live them too. I try to anyhow. Even I can be so down sometimes, and then I go back to that which I knew before. That didn't work for me then, but somehow, on some level, I still go back there. And then I end up being angry with God, disappointed with God, or disappointed in people big time. And it takes me a minute to catch myself like, gee, is that really what you are all about? Is that what you want to be all about? So, First of all, we probably should clarify what these old teachings are that we seem to fall back on. And, I know people who stopped going to Unity churches because they're angry with God because something happened in their lives. I even know of a person who used to be a board member at one of the Unity churches, and then she became a Pentecostal, bless her heart. I mean, how do you do that? What are these teachings that we seem to go back to? Of course, we have had all this series on the Bible this whole year, so we know a lot about tribal consciousness. Remember that? Tribal consciousness is when God likes me, likes my family, and whoever I don't like, God hates too. Whoever is my enemy, God hates too. God favors the Jews, but God is really bad news if you happen to be an Egyptian. Then chances are that you will die a terrible death, either in the Red Sea or there's many other different ways that the Jews thought up of for the Egyptians. You see, that's a tribal consciousness, that God loves some, but doesn't others. Choose some, but kills off others. Also, tribal consciousness is that God punishes the wicked, but what's that word? Rewards the good. So punishes the wicked, rewards the good, and the Old Testament is full of these. You read the Psalms, it's full of it. God punishes the wicked. So then, based on that, we should assume that any life that has been lived for a long time, so any old person, must be righteous and good. Because they lived a long time, God allowed them to live a long time. And anybody who died young had to have been wicked because God punished them. You see, that's that tribal consciousness. I Googled, I just put it in there. Why do bad things happen to good people? And this is a question, by the way, that comes up all the time. I don't know if that's true for you guys, but me being a minister, oh my goodness. Whether I just met this person, we are riding on the train, we just happen to be sat next to in the airplane, it comes up. And why do bad things happen to good people? And these people seem to think that I must have the answer. So this is a very common question, but it's an existential question. Haven't you ever wondered about it? I live my life according to values and principles that I know to be good, that I know to be loving, and still bad things happen to me. I still lose my job. I still forfeit on my mortgage. Just bad things. My kids go on to using drugs, or they are just bums. They seem to waste their lives away. My car breaks down all the time. I'm sick all the time. My spouse is sick all the time. I never have, all these things. Why do bad things happen to good people? So I Googled it. And I had a lot of fun with it. These are the things that came up. Well, the question is, why do bad things happen to good people? Guess what? There are no good people. It's very simple. Christians will tell you like it is. Only God is good, and no one else is good. So the question makes no sense therefore whatsoever, because there are no good people. No need to deal with this question. So now, if you have wondered before, why do bad things happen to you, and you consider yourself a pretty decent good people, the minister tells you like it is, there are no good people. Now you also feel guilty on top of everything else, that you had the audacity to imagine that there might be any goodness inside of you. So there are no good people. There are no bad things. I mean, everything, if you wait long enough, you will see in the big picture that it works out, right? In the big picture. So You just gotta wait long enough. Now, there is a lesson for you to learn from this, okay? So, there's the big picture, then there's the lesson, and then the other one is that God is putting you to a trial, and God doesn't try anybody beyond their strength, right? Don't you wish you were just a little bit weaker every now and then? Because God doesn't try anybody beyond their strength. Now, these may sound okay on the very surface if you don't start scratching a little bit, but once you start scratching, it's all terribly trite. It doesn't work, it's not useful. So let's go through them. Big picture. In the big picture, it's like imagine this, that you have a big, have you ever seen a real true Persian rug? These types of rugs. And so, but the real one that's handmade, So in the back, so this is the front that you walk on. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful pattern, right? But in the back, you have the threads, and some of them are knotted, some of them are cut, some of them are left longer because that's what's needed for the big pattern, right? So there are those Christians who will say, well, you don't see the big picture, but God does. And just like in that rug, some lives have to be a little bit knotted, some have to be cut short, but it all works out in the big picture, you see? Now, imagine that a human being, maybe an artist, a fantastic artist, who wants to create a beautiful art that lasts forever. And why can't somebody create a beautiful art like that? So they choose to use children for their art project. And they do different things for the sake of the big picture. They do different things to these children that ends up them being a little knotted. One cut short, the other one left longer. You see what I'm saying? Wouldn't we imprison that person? Wouldn't we say that it's not okay for the sake of the big picture to treat people that way? So why would we cut God any more slack than we would to a human being? Why would we possibly want to excuse God and assign him the responsibility for having done? Does that make any sense? Okay. It's trying somebody. Nobody is being tried beyond their strength, except I don't believe that to be true for a second. For I have seen many people who have been tried beyond their strength. And today we remember them because they committed suicide. Today we look at them because they're bumming on the streets and they're homeless. I visit this guy in a nursing home all the time. He took a lot of shots in life, but finally, the last straw was when his house broke down with all of his books. He could survive the divorce. He could survive the separation from his child. But when the house and the books went too, that was it. So Gabe is in a nursing home today. He drank his mind away. He's in a terrible shape. Sometimes he recognizes me, most often he doesn't. So I have seen many people who were tried beyond their strength. So I should think by now God would have realized that some of us just can't take it all. So maybe he should tweak a little bit the experiment, if it is indeed God that's trying us. Now, of course, there's a lesson to be learned, right? We're so quick to tell somebody, well, you know what? You lost your job, but I bet you it's going to teach you something really valuable for this life. And I'm telling you this as I'm driving off in my car to my job where my paycheck is awaiting me. See what I'm saying? Or, we read about news and we hear about, oh God, I don't have to tell you anything. We're past the Boston bombing. We're past the massacre in Newtown, right? So, who is God teaching a lesson? Is God teaching a lesson the child who died? Well, it's some lesson. The problem is that the child is quite dead by the time they would have learned the lesson. Is it teaching the society a lesson or the parents a lesson how to deal with loss? Well, what a price to pay for my spiritual evolution, to develop my spiritual sensitivity. You see what I'm saying? So is it really a lesson? Can it possibly be a lesson? Or are we finding every possible excuse for God? Because we have to and we want to know that someone is in charge. There's gotta be a big plan. Because what if we find out that there's no one in the driver's seat? Then there are those people, those Christians who say, and not just Christians really, who say, well, the people who died, the people who it appears to us they didn't live a full life. In fact, if you really look at all the background of their lives, they had a full life. And I think this would have been a story better believed before the time of internet, when we didn't hear so much about tragedies. But how about 9/11, when, was it 2,000-3,000 people died? Would it be a little bit of stretch of the imagination to say that all of them may have had completed their lives? Can we really say that in the light of such tragedy? Or when a tsunami hits and 15,000 people, 20,000 people die? Is it a little bit of a stretch of the imagination to speculate that all of them have just overcome some significant hurdle in their lives and it was time for them to go? Is it trite then? Does it give you a real sense of peace when somebody comes back at you, when you are hurting, when you don't want to wake up like ever again? It would be just fine with you if you could be in embryo position for the rest of your life, covered with a thick duvet. Does it feel comforting to you for somebody to tell you that God is teaching you a lesson? That this has a reason in the big picture? That, don't worry, because you ain't gonna be tried beyond your strength. Well, I don't think so. You see, on a very real level, to me, such talk is meaningless. So what do we have that might be meaningful in that moment? What do we have to offer that is just a little bit different? Well, first of all, I think we have to understand very differently and understand who God is and who God isn't. What God does and what God doesn't do. Who is in the driver's seat and who isn't. Because I firmly believe the reason these trite explanations are thought up and provided is because we need a sense of certainty that somebody is in the driver's seat. So, I tell you that you are in the driver's seat. It's that simple. I do believe that asking the question, why do bad things happen to good people, is a rotten question. Because you get lost in trying to answer something that sounds so existential. yet so far away from any practical solution to your very practical pain, to the very real agony that you're experiencing right here and right now. Is God doing this to me? Absolutely not. Is it because I'm cutting God some slack? I'm excusing God? Absolutely not. Because God was never in the driver's seat, never will be, isn't now, you are. By thinking, why do bad things happen to good people? We no longer think on a solution. We no longer think on how to actually be in this moment. But we distract ourselves with such an existential, spiritual sounding, you see, question. But I don't find that helpful either, to ask that question. You are in the driver's seat. And I believe that's the power that we have awakened to. That our potentiality is so much greater than we could have ever imagined. And as long as we think that God gives us that which we deserve, you see, except it's not true, because we see the wicked prosper and the righteous not. But if we believe that God gives us what we deserve, we become compliant. If we believe that this is a lesson for me, because there's the other thing that I love about this. God gives you a lesson. He just doesn't really spell out what is it that you have to learn and why. You see? If you had a teacher like that in school, you'd fire him. Wouldn't you? Here's the lesson, but I'm not going to really tell you what the problem is, nor what the solution is. Just know that you got to get it right. You see? And this is what we make okay when it comes in relationship to God. Now, when you let go of all this, when you strip all these false beliefs away, what's left? It's you. You are in the driver's seat. You're no longer weakened by these false beliefs, by these useless, guilt-producing, mind-boggling beliefs. And you can own your own power. You can dig in deep, and you can see what that Christ light is all about. Because you have peeled away the layers that don't work, never have. And then there you are left. And the solution becomes possible because you're willing to see it, because you're willing to claim your power. Bad things happen because this universe is a self-correcting and evolving universe. Things happen. Life ends up hurting us. Now what? You see? Now what? By stop asking the wrong question. By stop assigning the power and responsibility to the wrong entity. We find ourselves empowered with hope in a solution. Does that make any sense? So why do bad things happen to good people? I don't know. I don't know. But do I know that you won't be able to deal with the bad things if you think God is teaching you a lesson? If you think God is putting you to trial? If you think that God has this big plan, and in the big plan, my suffering surely fits? Strip all of that away and release your splendor. Release your potentiality and your power. And I believe that that's what we have to offer here. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend G. At this time, it is time for our sharing of our offertory affirmation. And just before we share that, I once again would like to welcome John to the platform. John's going to share some more special music with us. Let's share our offertory affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful. John?
I'm thankful for you guys letting me come to your church. Well, Suzanne asked me if I sing songs. I do. I wasn't going to, but I feel like I will do one song for you. I'll sing it. It's kind of, it's a Bob Marley song. It's, I don't know if you guys know Bob Marley. Yes, probably. Somebody is. It's called Redemption Songs. But it seems kind of fitting to your, the way we're going here. So I'll try to give it a shot. If I'm out of tune, bear with me. Let's see. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I. Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my end was made strong by the end of the Almighty. We followed in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption song. These songs of freedom. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None of ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill a book. Won't you help us sing another song of free man? Is all I ever had. Redemption songs. These songs of freedom. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill a book. Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? Is all I ever
It is good for us to be together. It is good for us to share with each other, for each other, of each other. We stand in gratitude, receiving and offering blessings. And together we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please all stand and let's say the prayer for protection and then sing the peace song. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God